New overnight, one man has been seriously injured in a shooting. Raleigh police tell us it happened just after 11:15 last night at a home on DeMille Place. The victim was transported to the hospital. There's no update on his condition at this time. One man, though, has been taken into custody. For any updates, you can check out our website, cbs17.com.
This is not how any family wants to start the beginning of a new year. Now, this exit, it was blocked off earlier this morning. You can see that the scene is clear now, but the investigation is still well underway.
And obviously we want to provide closure to the families.
A phone call no family wants to get.
We want to know what happened and make sure that those that committed these crimes are taken into custody.
State police say they arrived near exit 60 in Hamden with the local fire department and a medical crew just before 2:30 this morning to find 23-year-old Adrian Lopez shot dead in his car. 3 other people were inside that vehicle. One person is in critical condition, another stable with non-life-threatening injuries. Officers are still searching for the suspect.
With this incident, it was, as we believe, an isolated incident, so there's no threat to the public at this time.
State police say that investigators are tracing their steps of the night before.
I know there's a lot of legwork to find out hours even before this happened, where they were located, who they were with, and those types of things.
They are asking for the public's help as well.
Looking for any witnesses that might have any information, anybody who was in the area that might have their vehicle equipped with dash cam.
To give this family closure. In Hamden, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
Hi, Tamana and Jackie. We learned that the man killed was a bouncer at the Lion's Den. Instead of sharing smiles for the new year, loved ones shared heart-wrenching tears and memories of him. New Year's Eve is a time of celebration. Like many places, the Lion's Den Hookah Lounge in Wicker Park welcomed people to ring in 2023. But panic and terror soon filled the bar after midnight when a shootout left one man dead. Police haven't identified him yet, but loved ones say his name is Austin McAllister.
He has 6 children that will miss him dearly. He has a twin brother. And I can only imagine what he's feeling right now.
McAllister was many things: a veteran, loving father, a twin, and personal trainer. Latoya Wade and McAllister have a son together. Wade says he was working as a bouncer at the Hookah Lounge when he was killed. According to CPD, it all started when the suspect tried to force his way into the bar with a gun early Sunday morning. Police go on to say 2 victims fired back at the suspect, who then took off. Both victims were shot and rushed to Stroger Hospital, but McAllister didn't make it.
He just took him, he just took him away. He couldn't get in the bar, just find another bar to go to. It's not that serious.
Windows at the Lion's Den are boarded following the shooting. Those who live and shop in the neighborhood were stunned to hear someone's life was cut short.
Upset, it's hard to hear that anybody gets hurt.
That's just sad, makes you want to call friends and family.
Wade has many questions as to why the suspect had to react in a reckless manner. But for the new year, she has one wish, and that's justice for McAllister. And we reached out to the bar for comment, but we have not heard back from them as it is closed for the holiday. At this time, no arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to call police. We are live in Wicker Park. Andrea Medina, WGN News.
We begin this morning with a breaking news alert. Metro Police are investigating an overnight shooting where one person was hurt. News 2's Megan Kernan was on the scene this morning, and she joins us in studio with what we know so far. Megan.
Yeah, Tori, it happened just after 2 this morning. Metro Police were called to Wedgwood Avenue, where they found the victim, who had been shot in a nearby alley. Now, officers tell us it's unclear where the shooting exactly happened, but believe it was somewhere around this alley between homes and apartment complexes. The victim was taken to the hospital to be treated for minor injuries. When I arrived on scene, officers were out searching with flashlights, as you can see from the video here. Now, no arrests have been made yet, and no suspects have been identified either. We will continue to follow this and update you with any other information we receive. Tori?
In Ocala, police say 2 died and 4 others were hurt in a shooting. This happened early this morning on Southwest 5th Street. Police say during that shooting there was a large crowd in the area. Officers have identified the victims as 30-year-old Devonta Harris and 24-year-old Abdul Van Krosky. They're asking anyone with information to call Ocala Police or the crime line.
And we are following a developing this story this morning, also out of Aurora. Police involved in a shooting that happened at a home in Aurora. Carly Moore is on from North Chambers Road with the latest details. Carly, we know you've been learning new details throughout the morning. Do we know how that officer is doing here this morning? We know the officer was hurt as well.
There was an officer hurt in this incident. 3 people total taken to the hospital. Lisa, good morning. And what we do know is that the officer in stable condition, as well as those other 2 people. But this is the scene here where the scene was, I should say. It was cleared really early on this morning. But we're here at Chambers and 12th, right by Hinckley High School. Take a look at some of this video. Again, that scene cleared before our crews were able to arrive this morning. Aurora PD officers were called to a domestic violence disturbance. That initial call came in at about 10:50 p.m. New Year's Eve. Officers arrived on scene at about 11:20 p.m. Were inside the home when 20 minutes later shots were fired by officers. Police say they were trying to take a domestic violence suspect into custody when another man stepped in. He was shot by police while officers say he was interfering with the arrest. Now, after the encounter, 3 men, all in total, including that officer, sent to the hospital. Now, according to the chief, they are conscious and alert. The Arapahoe County Critical Incident Response Team is investigating. That is standard protocol. Now, officers and authorities have not yet released the relationship of the 2 men involved in this incident, whether they were family, whether they were just at the same gathering at the time. So, of course, we'll work to get those answers for you. In the meantime, though, Aurora Police spokespeople say that the body camera, at least one officer was wearing their body camera. The video was on, and there is footage of this incident, and it is being reviewed. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as that is released to the public as well. Live in Aurora this morning, Carly Moore, Daybreak on 2.
Well, a lot to follow here. Carly, thanks so much for staying on top of it.
And we begin here at 6 o'clock with that breaking news. Multiple people shot during a drive-by in Durham. That suspect remains at large tonight. And with that, we say good evening. I'm Josh Chapin. We are working to figure out more about what happened, the victims in this case. This shooting happening around 2 o'clock this afternoon on North Miami Boulevard. This is in the Village Shopping Plaza. Authorities are now asking for your help in identifying the suspect or suspects. These are some photos we just got in from DPD. The picture is a bit grainy, as you can see, but this is the vehicle that they're trying to find, a dark-colored, older model Honda sedan. Jamise Price has been there this afternoon, live at that scene. Jamise, tell us what we know at this point. We know at least 5 people were shot, a juvenile. All victims are now in stable condition. I believe you also spoke to some eyewitnesses who say that this violence is nothing new to them.
That's right, Josh, and they're hoping this is not a trend through the rest of the year. They tell me they are fed up with it, and rightfully so. Such a violent start to the year, and you can just see the violence that unfolded here outside of this subway with the number of bullet holes here in the glass. We were also able to go inside the subway and also saw bullet holes there. We're talking 5 people shot, including a child, outside of this restaurant. We spoke with the owner, and he played me surveillance video inside the store, and there were multiple customers who were inside. They all got down when they heard those shots rang out. So these are the bullet holes in the doors and walls of Subway. Evidence markers outside of the Subway also illustrate the violence that happened here this afternoon. Durham police investigating this shooting as a drive-by at the Village Shopping Plaza on North Miami Boulevard. 4 adults were shot and 1 child. That child and one of the adults have injuries that are considered life-threatening. Police shared all victims, though, are stable at this time, but people in this community are fed up.
Everybody's tired of it. You know what I mean? Even the people that aren't scared to walk around here and are like, you know, the top of the food chain. And that's why there's a lot of violence like that, because when you're scared to walk down the street, what are you going to do? First thing you're going to do is get a gun to protect yourself, because everybody else has got guns.
They say the way you start the year, the way you end the year, so we might be headed for a bad cycle. Some people in this community need to come together and figure out what we need to do to bring an end to this.
Now, the owner of this Subway says they have been dealing with gangs in this area. They have called on police for help. They don't know exactly what to do. The employees, though, they closed down the shop for tonight. They will reopen tomorrow, but certainly a scary situation for those employees inside as well as those customers who were here when those shots rang out. Josh.
Jamise.
This morning, a 10-year-old boy is in the hospital after he was shot in the face. This happened last night near 47th and Ada in Chicago's Back of the Yards neighborhood. Police say the boy was sitting with several other children inside a home when a gun went off. The boy was taken to Comer Children's Hospital, where he was listed in fair condition. Police say they recovered a handgun near the home's garage, but no arrests have been made.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Deputy Chief Papaioannou. I am the street deputy for today, and I'm here to discuss a tragic event that occurred earlier this afternoon. At approximately 1 p.m. this afternoon, officers had a shot spotter alert in the area of 5637 South Prairie. As they arrived on scene, they discovered a silver Kia at this location with 4 individuals inside shot. Witnesses related that another vehicle pulled up alongside of the victim's vehicle as they were driving northbound on Prairie and fired several rounds, striking all of the occupants of the vehicle. The victims ranged in age. These teenagers were taken to area hospitals. They went to Comer's and they went to UFC Hospital to be treated. Unfortunately, the driver of the vehicle is deceased, and the other 3 victims are being treated with various injuries. We have currently multiple shell casings all along the scene with multiple rounds, and Area 1 detectives are canvassing the area looking for witnesses. They're looking for any cameras and any other information they can get. We encourage anyone with information to call cpdtips.com. The reward is up to $15,000 for the arrest and conviction of individuals that are involved in the shooting. With that, detectives are again looking at everything, every angle. Any information we can get from anyone is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Chief, were either of the vehicles involved in this stolen?
Currently, we know that the victim's vehicle was stolen. It was taken on December 30th.
Where from?
I don't have that information right now.
And the suspect vehicle?
We do not know that at this time.
Can you give us an age range of the victims?
So currently they're all teenagers, roughly between 17 and 14 years of age.
Do you think the victims are known to the persons that did this?
Unfortunately, I don't have that information, so I couldn't answer that.
The driver that was killed, how old was he?
Currently, we believe that he was 17 years of age.
The 4 were males or are males?
With the information I have right now, yes, that is correct.
And do you know the conditions of the other 3?
We have 2 of the victims are in fair condition, and the one is critical.
Chief, was
Yes,
any fire returned from the victim's vehicle?
Currently, detectives are looking at everything, trying to look. There were multiple rounds, so we're trying to see where they're coming from and, who could have done it.
And do we have any idea, maybe you mentioned this already, but the suspect's vehicle, what's the description on that?
We don't have that at this time.
And we don't have any.
I don't have that.
Last question.
Do you know where the vehicle was stolen from?
I do not. That was asked, and I'm not sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's
Couldn't
okay.
hear.
No problem.
All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming out, and we'll update our media men's once we get more information.
Tonight's shooting is yet another to add to what has already been a violent start to the new year in Detroit. Police investigating several shooting scenes after the clock struck midnight. Megan Woods joins us with more.
You can only imagine this is not how people plan to spend the start of 2023, visiting a close family member or friend in the hospital, or worse, having to bury them. The violence in the city today varies from deadly crash to shootings. The first shooting happened just an hour and a half into the new year. Detroit police say around 1:40 Sunday morning, they were called to a New Year's Eve party in the area of East Warren Avenue and East Outer Drive. A total of 3 people were shot. 1 of them died at the scene. Then downtown, about 20 minutes later, there's a deadly crash. Detroit officials confirmed that the car hit a wall on the 500 block of East Lafayette Street. But what led up to that is still under investigation. The person inside the car was pronounced dead on scene. Around 5:45 in the morning, Detroit police were dispatched to the 7700 block of Central Avenue, where 2 people were shot. Both are in stable condition. Not even an hour later, at 6:30, another 2 people were reportedly shot in the 2900 block of Fullerton Avenue. Police say both were privately taken to the hospital, but the 2 could be connected. Those victims are in stable condition. All are still under investigation. And that violence is just from today. That doesn't include the deadly stabbing that happened at 11:30 Saturday, just 30 minutes before midnight, or the 15-year-old child that was shot and killed Saturday morning. If you have any information on these crimes, you're asked to call Detroit Police. In Detroit, I'm Megan Woods, Local 4.
Our crime reporter Henry K. Lee joining us now live at the Pittsburgh Police Department with the very latest on this investigation. Henry.
Yeah, Christian, this is an already sad case, but even more so because of the holidays. Now, Pittsburgh police telling me they're looking into the possibility that this was an unintentional shooting.
You know, that was just really a tragic loss here in the city.
Pittsburgh Mayor Chanel Scales Preston is heartbroken. A 15-year-old boy was shot and killed at a home, allegedly by another 15-year-old boy in what may have been an accidental shooting.
I have 2 boys of my own, 13 and 15, and my heart and prayers and thoughts go out to the family, go out to both families.
It definitely hits home during the holiday season when several lives are destroyed over this.
Pittsburgh Police Sergeant Nicholas Law says the shooting happened at about 3 Thursday afternoon at a home on Suzanne Drive near Buchanan Road.
Officers responded and found a 15-year-old juvenile that had been shot and provided medical care along with Confire. He was transported to the hospital, but unfortunately succumbed to his injuries and died.
Another 15-year-old boy accused of shooting him was arrested on suspicion of involuntary manslaughter. That's defined as an unintentional killing that may have resulted from criminal negligence or recklessness. The mayor says Pittsburgh police recently got more than 200 guns off the streets with a gun buyback program and a separate campaign.
We are trying our best to make sure these guns are out of our community and keeping our youth safe. But, you know, we always could continue to do more.
This kind of tragedy happens far too often.
Griffin Dix is a gun safety advocate. His 15-year-old son, Kenzo, was shot and killed in Berkeley in 1994 by a friend who thought the gun was unloaded.
You know, you can't really rely on a boy not to touch a gun by just telling him, oh, don't touch it. And because, you know, kids do things that they shouldn't do.
Now, the names of the teens involved have not been released. The 15-year-old accused shooter is being held at Contra Costa County Juvenile Hall in Martinez. Live in Pittsburgh, Henry Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, heartbroken community there tonight. Henry, thank you.
Following some breaking news this morning, 1 man dead and several others shot just hours after the New Year rang. Police say that this happened in a parking lot outside of Fassler Hall near Northwest 10th and Walker. Multiple police units responded to that call. Officers on scene tell us a man died at the scene and medics rushed at least 3 other victims to the hospital.
Through the very initial stages of this, it was learned that 3 other individuals were shot with various gunshot wounds. Their conditions are all unknown at this time.
Right now, police say that the suspect hasn't been found. They are still interviewing witnesses this morning. So go ahead and stick with KOCO as we work to learn some more about this developing story.
Milwaukee police already investigating shootings in the new year. Early this morning, a shooting near 5th and Bruce injured 2 people. It happened around 3 o'clock. According to Milwaukee police, a 27-year-old woman and a 26-year-old man were injured. Both of the victims were taken to the hospital and are expected to be okay. Milwaukee police are searching for suspects and looking into what led up to the shooting. If you have any information, you're asked to call police.
in. Okay? Just be careful. All right, thank you.
New tonight, police, as we speak, are hunting for an armed and dangerous man in Palm Bay. They just put out an alert in the last few hours. They say he opened a fire at Malabar Road and Eldrin Boulevard in Palm Bay earlier this evening. Police say they're searching for a 40-year-old man with a full beard, dark shirt, and jeans. We're asking more details about that shooting and that suspect.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Summer Knowles in for Luana Munoz. A gathering on New Year's Day in Ocala ends with 2 people shot and killed and several others injured early this morning. Police are now searching for that shooter. West 2's Tonight Gabrielius is live in Ocala tonight. So tonight, what all do we know so far?
Summer, Ocala police say there were at least 100 people gathering in a residential neighborhood. And then just a few hours into the new year, gunshots were fired into the crowd, killing 2 people and hurting 4 others.
I was totally stunned, jumped up, checked out the hotel, jumped on the turnpike and came here.
Hours after ringing in the new year, Pastor Fulton Wilson got a frantic phone call from a family member. He was told his cousin, Abdul Hakim Van Krosky, was killed in Ocala after gunshots were fired at a large gathering.
This kid, hard worker, took care of his mom, truck driver, and honestly, I'm surprised he was even here. Maybe because of New Year's or whatever, I don't know.
Krosky was 24 years old. 30-year-old DeMonte Harris was also killed in the shooting. 4 others were injured and are said to be in stable condition. Fireworks debris piled up while detectives gathered evidence Sunday morning. Police say 100 people were near Southwest 5th Street and 6th Avenue when someone fired a gun into the crowd around 4:30 a.m.
It was a whole block party. Been up all night. We didn't get any sleep.
Some witnesses who wanted to protect their identities spoke to us about what they heard.
I was just laying there in bed and I heard a couple of men talking, but I couldn't make out what they were saying because I was trying to find out, are they here in my yard? I heard bam, 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 bam.
The neighbors told us this wasn't the first time they've seen large crowds get together outside their homes.
There was a lot of people, and they've had this twice, and we don't like it.
This is just incredibly ridiculous, man.
Families are starting the new year with broken hearts, trying to make sense of the senseless.
The loss of love for life has just decreased so much. It's ridiculous when you got a bunch of people who don't care about another individual's life.
Now, if you know anything about this shooting that can help investigators find the person responsible, please call Marion County Crime Stoppers or Ocala Police Department. We have that information at WESH.com. We're live in Ocala. Sanay Gebergedigas, WESH 2 News.
And we begin tonight with public outcry over a spree of shootings this weekend in Detroit, along with a deadly stabbing. Thank you for joining us. I'm Mike Duffy.
And I'm Amira David. This happened at several different scenes across the city, with 6 victims shot in total and 1 person stabbed to death. 7 Action News reporter Simon Shaquette is getting answers from police and the community in the wake of the violence.
Across the city of Detroit, violence reaching a scale sparking outrage from community leaders. A shooting on Fullerton and an assault at about 6:30 a.m. No one arrested there and no motive known. Both victims recovering and stable.
This cannot be our reality for 2023.
Condemning the shootings, Pastor Mo Hardwick calling on coaches, teachers, mentors, and other everyday Detroiters to speak up and organize against the crime. Crime that includes another double shooting at 5:45 a.m. on Central. Also, no arrests and victims stable. And at 11:30 p.m. on Stansbury last night, a fatal stabbing with no arrests.
It has to be all hands on deck. Violence has made its mark and said they're going to be president. Peace and safety have to make their mark.
Lastly, today at 1:42 a.m. on East Warren and East Outer Drive, 3 more people shot in relation to someone opening fire at a New Year's Eve party. 2 victims survived, but 1 has been pronounced dead by police. No arrests reported there either. Pastor Mo issuing an urgent call to combat shootings that have plagued the city for years.
The brothers, the cousins, the community, every point of the community must step up. Every pastor, church, every football coach, every team, every activist, brothers, the cousins, the community, every point of the community must step up.
Detroit police are also investigating the shooting death of Tracy Golden, a wife and mother who was gunned down as she left a store late last week on Grand River. All of these cases very active, and if you have information that can help, call Detroit police right away. Reporting live downtown, Simon Shaquette, 7 Action News.
All right, Simon, thank you for that live report. A really powerful message from Pastor Mo.
Right now, Des Moines police are beginning their first shooting investigation of 2023. 3 people are injured after shots were fired on the city's north side at apartments off MLK Jr. Parkway. KCCI's Lauren Johnson was at the scene for hours this afternoon and is live there right now. And Lauren, what are police sharing in this investigation?
Laura, it's still a very active scene here at the apartments behind me. I'm going to step out of frame so you guys can take a look. They have multiple police officers here still kind of processing the scene. If you guys want to take a look over at these apartments in that back corner, there seems to be a lot of activity over there. So I'm guessing that's where maybe a lot of the investigation is taking place. Police say those shots rang out around 1 p.m. this afternoon. At the scene, they found 2 people with a gunshot wound. Both were transported to a local hospital. One of the individuals is in critical condition. Now, neighbors and those passing by the area earlier today told us they heard, they said this is a grim start to the beginning of the new year.
Like 6 muffled gunshots, like pop, 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 pop. And I just thought it was 4th of July. I thought it was still the New Year's Eve or something. It's not a good New Year starting off. For somebody.
Just heard 4 loud pops, like pop, pop, pop. It's kind of crazy that people have to be shooting other people. I mean, there's other ways to solve things. I'm not sure what the incident was over. We'll probably figure out more of that.
Now, that third person Laura had mentioned took themselves to Broadlawns Medical Center with a gunshot wound from that same shooting incident. Multiple authorities responded to the hospital at that time. As you can see, DMPD had a busy month in December with multiple homicides and shooting investigations. They say the shooting is a somber way to start this new year.
We all get caught up in the changing of the new year and the hope that comes with that symbolism. But The reality is that things don't change a lot in our community unless we put some effort into getting them changed. And I mean, right now we're starting 2023 off the same way we ended it in 2022.
Now, police say multiple firearms were taken from the scene after that shooting, and they say there is no need for the public to think that there is any threat following this shooting. Reporting live here from Des Moines, Lauren Johnson, KCCI 8 News, Iowa's news leader.